Hey guys. There we are with the green dot. How are we? It is Monday. I know I missed you guys last week, but here we are together, me and you and me. It's time for some shadow work philosophy as everybody comes filing in here on TikTok, and welcome to those of you guys that are watching this on YouTube as well. Let's talk about anxiety. Yeah? The answer is yes, okay? Here's why. I was going to do something completely different for tonight because of the state of the world and so on. But then I got thinking, the state of the world is exactly why we need to talk about anxiety, because I don't know about y'all, but my anxiety has been dumb. It's been dumb. I've been having anxiety attacks out of nowhere, and part of it is because of this. We are now bombarded on social media, no matter what your preferred social media is, on the news, on everywhere, with the state of the world. The world's always been broken. There's always been shit going on, but now it's right here in our face. So everybody's anxiety is dumb. It's dumb. Nobody is sure their footing. Nobody is sure where they're going. Nobody is sure of anything. So we're going to talk a little bit tonight, and we're going to do a lot of different prompts. I'm going to give you a ton of different shadow work prompts to help you with anxiety, because I know that everybody crazy anxiety. Everybody crazy anxiety. So, are we ready? One of the things about anxiety is that while there are some symptoms that everybody kind of experiences at the same level, they have the same symptoms, everybody actually experiences anxiety completely differently. We all have different ways we grew up, different traumas, different issues, different things going on, and our bodies all react to stress and anxiety differently. So we are totally going to talk about a ton of different shadow work prompts that allow you to work through some of this shit very easily, okay? One of the very first ones that I want you guys to start with is this. Ready? What is my first thought in the morning? What is your first thought in the morning? Take a notebook and keep a list. Now, you don't got to write a big old long thing, okay? You don't got to write a page every single morning. Just what is your first thought every morning when you wake up? What was your first thought today? Do you remember? You probably don't. Look at what your first thought is every single morning when you wake up. Do this for a week. I'll see you next Monday. We'll talk about it. But do your very first thought in a notebook. Look at what the overwhelming theme is with your very first thought every morning. Is it good? Is it bad? Does it instantly make you stressed out? Do you wake up thinking about all of the things that you have on your plate to do that day? Or is your first thought, I don't want to be up. I don't want to adult today. I don't want to work. I don't want to do this. What is your first thought? Okay? What is your very first thought every single morning? Okay? That's an easy one. It's the first one. It gives you a pinpoint. It gives you an idea. It gives you a starting point of where your anxiety is. What is it? How is your anxiety affecting you? One of the next things that you guys need to do every single morning, and I want you to just try this for a week, okay? Just try this for a week. After your first thought, I want you to do this. What is it you're grateful for that day? What is it you're grateful for today? What is it you right now in this moment are grateful for? I'm grateful that I got to spend the day with awesome people at one of my favorite places. What are you grateful for? I'm grateful for a quiet house. I'm grateful for you guys. I'm grateful that I'm breathing. Think about that. What are you grateful for? One of the things that I learned in dealing with a lot of anxiety and a lot of CPTSD is that by looking at the things that you are grateful for, it helps you to kind of calm down some anxiety in the moment. Sounds stupid, but it works. So in the middle of an anxiety attack, in the middle of that panic, your chest is squeezed, you're having a heart attack, you're going to die, you can't, all of those feelings, you guys all know what it is. If you've had a panic attack, you know exactly the feelings I'm talking about. By concentrating on something and that very moment that you are thankful for, it helps to kind of pull you slightly out of that anxiety attack, just enough that you can catch a breath. It's hard, and you have to work at it, and you have to practice, but once you start with, okay, I'm thankful for this, the next one, and the next one, and the next one come easier and easier and easier and easier. Does it mean that it's going to completely stop a panic attack, an anxiety attack? No, but it will help. I promise. I promise. That leads into this one. Look at the things that you're grateful for and make a list of 10 things, 10 affirmations that you can say to yourself when your anxiety peaks. You know that moment where your anxiety is through the fucking roof and you just know, you just feel that anxiety attack is coming on, that you're fixing to slide down the rabbit hole of anxiety? You know that feeling? By looking at the things you're grateful for, you can start to look at 10 different things that you can say to yourself, you can repeat in your mind, or you can say out loud to help pull you out of an anxiety attack. Believe it or not, you are your best defense against an anxiety attack. People just aren't taught how to do it. Instead, medicine's thrown at you, pharmaceuticals. And a lot of times the pharmaceuticals have side effects that almost make your anxiety worse. Now, it's work. It's work. But if you have severe anxiety, if you have anxiety attacks, and if you have those ones that keep you stuck in your house where you can't leave, these are great techniques for you to learn. These are great techniques to learn. One of the other ways that you can use these 10 affirmations is when you're going into a situation that gives you anxiety. You're going into a new class, into a courtroom. You have to go meet with an ex to deliver the kids back and forth. You're going to a job interview. Any of those things that immediately make your heart kind of squeeze a little bit. Anytime your anxiety is through the roof, you can use these affirmations to help you. Do y'all remember those times in my life when I say that I want you to use the mantra that I use to help my own self-esteem? Do you remember that? Do you remember what that mantra is? I am the prize. That is an affirmation. That is something you can repeat to yourself to help pull you out of situations. Those times when you feel less than, those times when your anxiety tells you that you're never going to be good enough, that no one will ever love you, that you're going to die, like whatever it is, using that one simple phrase, I am the prize, and repeating it, even if you don't believe it, repeat it over and over and over and over to yourself. Do you know why? Because repetition sets a habit. Habit sets a belief. Yes? So if you repeat over and over and over and over to yourself, I am the prize, eventually you're going to wake up one day and you're going to believe it. You're going to believe it. I'm just saying what I'm saying. Not only will that help your anxiety, it will help your self-esteem. It will help you walk away from anxious situations, from people that make you anxious. Because a lot of times for those people that have high anxiety, they tend to stick with and gravitate toward the very people that give them high anxiety, because the devil you know is always better than the devil you don't know. And that is not always the case. Because a lot of times those very people that give you the anxiety that you're feeling, that cause you to be anxious, that cause you to feel less than, and to build that anxiety even more, are the very ones that have wrecked your self-esteem to begin with. So by saying, I am the prize, to yourself as your mantra, when you have those anxiety flare-ups, I promise it will help. Whenever I first started using that mantra for myself, it was at the height of one of the nastiest divorces that most of my friends had ever heard about. Not only was I being followed around, I had trackers put on my car. It got way worse than that. Those were just a couple of the things. To the point that I was scared to be by myself. I was scared to go to work. I was scared to leave my house. I was scared to be in my house. It was one of the most paranoid times in my life. And I felt like I was never going to make it out of that. I felt like my own anxiety was going to cause me to have a massive heart attack or something. And I started telling myself, there's a reason you got out of that situation, and it's this right here. I got really mad at myself one day. And I thought, you know what? You're a very caring person. You're a very giving person. You don't deserve this. And I started telling myself, I am the prize. I did not believe it one fucking bit when I started saying it. I didn't. Not one bit. But after a while, I started believing that whole fake it till you make it thing. And after a little while longer, I started looking around like, I am the prize. What am I doing talking to you? What am I doing talking to you? What am I doing entertaining the idea that I should be talking to somebody who is exactly like the person that wrecked my self-esteem? And the first time I realized that, the first time I just completely stopped talking to somebody to their face, cut them off, was like, hey, this is not going to work out. I'll see you later. I realized I really was the prize. I knew my worth. By using that one little teeny tiny sentence, I am the prize. 4 words. Even if you don't believe it in the moment. That is an affirmation. I keep pointing over there because there's my list. That is an affirmation that can help you with your anxiety and with your self-esteem at the same time. I'm gifting it to you. I want you guys to use it. And I want you guys to become the prize because you already are. When it comes to anxiety, when it comes to the state of the world, when it comes to all of the shit that you see, that you hear, that you feel, it is okay to take a break. It is. There are reasons why I kind of disappear from social media for a week or so, a few days. There are reasons that I have to take off of doing personal appointments for a while. There are reasons that every single person has to step away for a moment. You need a break, my friend. You need a break. Self-care is not selfish. Taking care of you is not selfish. Going and relaxing in a hot bath or a hot shower with the door locked and your phone off, no matter how much your cat or your dog doesn't like it and sits outside the door, that is not selfish. Taking time for you, getting away, doing something nice for yourself is not selfish. A wise person once said that you can't help anyone else if you are on the floor. Just like in an airplane, and those of you guys that have listened to me for a while have heard me say this more than once. Just like when you're on a plane, you have to secure your mask first before you secure anyone else's. You can't help anybody if you're on the floor. If you are so stressed out and so overwhelmed that you can't breathe, that you are having severe anxiety, that your anxiety attacks are coming over and over and over, step back. Step back. Take the day off. I know that a lot of us can't afford to take a day off, but sometimes you have to. Sometimes you have to. Sometimes you need to take that day off and you need to relax and you need to turn off your phone and you need to not answer the door and you need to not answer email or messages on social media or even look at social media. You need to completely unplug. Sometimes you need to completely disconnect. Disconnecting doesn't have to mean traveling to a whole other country. Disconnect can be as simple as going someplace you've never been before. It can be as simple as going, I have 2 hours and I can totally get this thing out of my eye that's poking me in the face. I can totally drive for an hour and then turn around and come back. No destination in mind. None. Not one, nothing. Simply pick a direction and drive. That's exactly what I did today. Not pick a direction and drive. I actually had a destination in mind, but getting away, getting to a place that was a very, very wonderfully calming, soul-soothing place that I hadn't been in a while was exactly what I needed to reset and restart myself. You guys need that too. You guys all need that too. The problem is that we've been told so much by other people, by the media, by movies, by whatever, that if you don't do everything for everybody, who's going to do it? If you take care of yourself, you're selfish. For women, we're told that our family, our spouses, our significant other, our job, everything comes first. For men, it's the same thing. You better provide. You better take care of. You better put all of these people before you. And neither one of you better show weakness. Neither one of you better show emotion. Neither one of you better say that you need a break. I know every one of you has heard that. How anxiety-inducing is that thought? Seriously, how anxiety-inducing is that? That you have to care for every single person before yourself. That you have to provide for every single person before yourself. It doesn't matter what side of the gender fence you're on. It's stupid. If you cannot take time for you, there's no way you can help anyone else. If you are so burnt out from working and providing for everybody, eventually you're going to hit the wall and then you're not doing anything for anyone, yourself included. If you are so sick and tired and overwhelmed of trying to manage 6, 7, 8 people's lives and schedules and be the everything for everyone, eventually you're going to hit the wall and you're going to get burnt out. And then nobody can do the things you do because you do all of them. Honey, you deserve a break just like every single person. Now, I'm going to tell you guys something a little personal, okay? Don't tell anybody. So with this expansion, I worked myself into a migraine. I worked myself sick. And I really fought hard about taking some time off because I don't like to disappoint you guys all. However, when I would log in and see, where is she? Where is she? Where is she? Because on Thursday, even though I wasn't here doing Reiki and even though I had this amazing music on, I was still on my other account kind of paying attention because I just wanted to see. And some of the comments made me feel like a performing monkey. Some of the comments made me feel bad for taking the evening off, even though I was so tired, exhausted, that I was on the verge of seizure town. But I felt like a performing monkey. And then if I didn't perform, no one was going to love me anymore. And then very quickly, Tosh said, hey, let's do Bodhi's favorite thing and put something good out. And when I saw the things that you guys were putting out there, it made me remember why I love doing that so much. Why I love having everybody put something awesome in the chat, something that you needed to hear at your lowest, or maybe you needed to hear it that day or in that moment. Because that's what you need to hear. Do you know why I always tell you guys that I never want anyone to feel alone? Do you know why I always say I'm proud of you? Do you know why I always say that I see you? I see your ripples. I see you. Because not only were there times in my own life that I needed to hear that so badly, I couldn't stand it. But I fight anxiety. I fight stress. I fight not feeling good enough. Any of you guys that have survived an abusive relationship, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That's why that fucking filter here on Facebook that said confident but insecure, I was done. Don't call me on my bullshit, ma'am. I tell you guys that because that is the very thing I need to hear from myself. Sometimes we don't really need to hear it from other people. We need to hear it from ourselves. I'm proud of you. Look at the shit you've done. Look at how you didn't punch that dickhead at the store in the face. I'm proud of you. Look at how you stayed cool throughout that meeting today. When somebody was just belittling everything you do or everything your team does or whatever. Look how you stayed cool and didn't flip tables. Look how you held it together and they looked like a douche face. I'm proud of you. Look how you held it together, making it through the store today while your toddler threw a tantrum like you were murdering every stuffed animal they ever owned. Because you didn't give them that sucker, that candy, that whatever. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for holding it together when you were ready to cry 50 times today. I'm proud of you for putting one foot in front of the other when you're so exhausted in your soul that you can barely stand up. Everybody needs to hear those things from yourself. If you can't take care of you first, you can't help anyone else. Anxiety is stupid, but it is a thing and it affects all of us, especially with everything we're seeing on social media. Everything we're seeing on the news. There are sirens going off all around, which probably means there's a wreck or something here close. Everything you hear. Because when we hear sirens like that, I live down the street from a fire department. So when you hear sirens like that, knowing they're coming from the fire department, that means somebody's hurt. Somebody's losing all their property. It doesn't ever mean that they're just going to go and deliver some toys. That's anxiety inducing. Anxiety is a thing. By starting and looking at what your first thought is every morning, it will give you a good gauge of where your anxiety is when you step out of bed. Because a lot of times when we have terrible anxiety and when we go to bed with that anxiety manifests in our dreams. Not only does it manifest in our dreams, but it can twist and turn good things that we have going for us into something really bad. How many times have those of you that have a significant other or have had a significant other went to bed and had a dream that, I guess are going right down the street right there, that significant other cheated on them. And you woke up mad at that significant other, even though you know they had never been anywhere. They were there all night. Their phone was off. They weren't on their phone. How many of you guys had had something like that happen? Every single one of you. They're literally right up the street. Nothing anxiety inducing about that at all. But by looking at where you are when you wake up in the morning, everybody kind of, now don't put, I don't want to wake up, because everybody kind of does that. Nobody really wants to get up. Especially when your alarm's going off and you realize that you slept in 5 minutes longer than you should have because you hit snooze. Nobody really wants to get up. Okay? So, what you need to do instead is look at your first actual thought. Are you worried about your kids? Are you going through all of the things that you have to do that day? Are you stressed about something from yesterday? Is it your parents? Is it your job? Is it your kids? Is it your significant other? Is it work? What is the very first thing on your mind after that whole thought of, I don't want to wake up? Because nobody really wants to get out of bed. Everybody's bed is a seductive temptress. By doing that and by making those lists, and then by looking at what you are grateful for right then in that moment, even if it's just, I woke up. Have those two things right there. You'll have a gauge of where your anxiety is for the day, and you'll have something that you can repeat to yourself all day long. I'm thankful for blah, 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 blah. And then you can say, I am the prize right after it. I want you guys to also think about this, and this is another prompt for an anxiety attack. What is something you're looking forward to? What is something you're looking forward to? Whether it's that day, whether it's that week, whether it's next week, whether it's coming up. Are you looking forward to Christmas? Are you looking forward to going to bed tonight? Are you looking forward to getting home and seeing your dog? Are you looking forward to going home and turning your phone off? What is something you're looking forward to? So when your anxiety is through the roof and you're sitting there and you're going through everything in your head that's going wrong and how many different ways you're going to die that day, whatever, start looking at something you're excited about, something you're looking forward to. And sometimes it literally is getting home and getting in bed. That's like the best time of the day. When you get home, all the things are off, everything's quiet, and you're getting into bed and you're snuggled down in there. Keeping something close right here, that you're looking forward to will help as well. As I mentioned before, you have to train your brain. You have to rewire things in the moment. You can prepare for it all the way up till that moment happens, but in the moment, you have to shift yourself really quickly and say, okay, here comes the anxiety attack. So what am I thankful for? I am the prize. What am I looking forward to? And here's the thing. Some of you said, my wedding, the holidays, birthday, etc. Every single event comes with some anxiety. Don't think about it. Weddings have a massive amount of anxiety with them because you want everything to go perfect. Don't think about that aspect. Think about how glorious you're going to look in your gown or your tux or your swimsuit or your shorts, whatever you're wearing. Think about how excited everyone will be opening their birthday presents or their Christmas presents. Think about how amazing it's going to be to feel your feet slide in your sheets and your blankets tonight. Okay? Now, there are a lot of different things that you can do to help you kind of head off an anxiety attack. Some of them are shadow work prompts. Now, I'm going to give you several of these, but I want you to be careful with them, okay? Because I don't want you to break yourself. Do not do these all at once, and do not do them all in 1 week. Do one and give yourself a week or two to process and go through it. The thing about shadow work is this. You're going to see people on here that have not been doing it very long. And you're going to see people on here that teach it. Yes, I put it in air quotes on purpose. You're going to see people on here that run seminars and they do videos and so on. And when you listen to their shadow work prompts and you listen to how they're telling you to do shadow work, they're basically abusing you. They're breaking you. Shadow work is meant to be tough internally. It's not meant for the person helping to guide you through it to abuse you in any way, shape, or form. So if you're listening to somebody, if you're reading a book, if you're looking at an app, because I have seen some apps that are downright abusive under the guise of shadow work, walk away. Shadow work should not leave you more broken than when you started. That is not shadow work. That's something abusive. You can walk away. As your spiritual advisor, I am telling you to tell that person, book, app, etc. to fuck off. Okay? The other thing about shadow work is this. You don't do it every day. You don't. You will get to the point in your shadow work journal, that shadow work journey, that on a moment-to-moment basis, you're looking at things like, wow, that didn't trigger me. I must be growing a little bit. Or, wow, why did that trigger me? What in my brain but don't sit down every single day for an hour and do shadow work prompts. Don't do that. You need time to process through everything. Okay? So I'm going to give you a few anxiety shadow work prompts, but you are not allowed to do them every day. Capiche? Some of them are going to be really hard, like this first one. This first one is really hard. Okay? Are you ready? What is a quality that you love about yourself? What's a quality that you love about yourself? Keep an ongoing list. This one's actually hard, and if you're not careful with it, you can cause yourself anxiety. So definitely do not do this one every day, okay? Keep an ongoing list of worries that you need to let go of. Sometimes seeing the worry physically on a piece of paper will help you realize either it's not a legit worry or it's something that you can change. Or it's something completely out of your control that you have no way to fix. Keep a list of anxiety triggers. Now, for this one, you're going to have to pay attention to what triggers your anxiety. I know some people get triggered, say, around Christmas. What is it at Christmas that triggers that anxiety? What is it around a birthday, around a place, around a person, around an event that triggers that anxiety? It's not just the holiday itself. There is a deep-seated trauma in there that you need to start unpacking, okay? Think of the last time that you let an anxious thought spiral out of control. What are some of those thoughts? This is another one that I don't recommend doing all the time. And I don't recommend doing it when you're in the middle of an anxiety attack. Do this on a day when you feel good about yourself and you're ready to actively sit down and work through some of these things. You ready for the last one? What would it feel like to forgive yourself for a perceived wrong? What would it feel like to forgive yourself for walking away from a relationship, a job, a situation, a person? What would it feel like to forgive yourself for that? Every single one of you is going to come to a part in your shadow work journey where you look at things that you're holding a grudge against, that you're holding in here. And you're going to realize that it's not hurting anyone but you. You can be so angry at someone that it eats you up inside. But they're never going to really be hurt by that anger or that grudge. You need to forgive you for all of these things that you perceive you have done wrong. Do you see what I'm saying? Anxiety is a weird, fickle beast, and it will pop its head up at the most inopportune times. So know what triggers your anxiety. And if you don't know, start keeping a list. When you notice that something happens and you know how anxiety feels to you in here, when you realize that your anxiety is starting to go up, what is it that just happened that is a trigger for your anxiety? By keeping a list and seeing what's happening when your anxiety is triggered, it will help you find ways to combat it. Okay? Now, this again is the part where I remind you that you can't take care of anyone else if you're on the floor. In doing shadow work, you're going to have days where you are big and strong and 10 foot tall and you can bust through all of this stuff. And then you're going to have days where you just sit there randomly and go, man, I remember when I was thinking about that shadow work prompt and it led me down a really dark memory. And then suddenly you're in the middle of an anxiety attack. Shadow work is not for the fickle, the faint of heart. But it is something that everybody does on their spiritual journey. If you feel, and be honest with yourself, that you are not ready to start shadow work yet, no one says you have to, honey. Okay? No one says you have to start shadow work. You start it when you are ready. Just because you hear everybody talk about it on TikTok or Instagram or social media does not mean that you have to start it. Okay? Everybody's path is different. Your path is not my path. My path is not Joe's path. Joe's path is not Sharon's path. No two paths are the same. If somebody is years into shadow work and you feel like you should be because you've been on a spiritual path for a while, but you haven't felt the need to do shadow work yet, don't judge yourself against that other person because you're exactly where you are supposed to be in your journey. You'll start shadow work when it's time. I want you guys to remember that you are the prize. You are the prize. I want you to say that to yourself, especially on the days when you are so down and your anxiety is so through the roof. I am the prize. I am the prize. Let that help you heal yourself. Now, I saw somebody ask about how do you know when you're done with shadow work? Just like a spiritual awakening, you are on this ride. There is no station to get off. With a spiritual awakening, you're never done. With shadow work, you're never done. You will go through plateaus where you feel really good about yourself, or you have done a lot of shadow work and you feel that a lot of things are healed and you're doing fantastic. And then one day something will trigger and you'll go, what the? I already worked through that. What is that? And you'll realize that you worked through the top layer of that scab and you still had some things festering under there. This is why I say you cannot do shadow work every single day. You have to take breaks. The other thing is this, with any spiritual journey, with shadow work, with anything, if you have been on this plateau where everything is hunky-dory for a very long period of time, honey, you're not growing. You don't grow when everything is peachy keen. You don't grow when you're coasting along. You grow on the times when you're in the void. You grow on the times when you're in the shit. You grow on the times when you're on the floor and you don't want to get up. There's sucky times. The sucky times are where you grow. So If you feel like you've been on a plateau for a while, what is it you're hiding from? The universe will bring things to you for your shadow work journey, whether you like it or not. But we can also choose just to cover our eyes and ears and sing la 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 and ignore those things. Okay? So pay very close attention to where you are, how things are going. Are you happy? Are you not? Just things like that. And use those shadow work prompts that I gave you today to help you with your anxiety, to help you with the next time it flares up. And for those of you guys that have missed those here on TikTok, this will be uploaded to YouTube this evening, so you guys can go back and watch it. And for those of you guys watching on YouTube, make sure you guys hit that subscribe and like button there. And those of you guys on TikTok, if you're not following me on YouTube, why not? What's wrong with you? Why not? What's wrong with you? So, with that, I'm going to get off of here, and I'm going to leave you with one last thought before I go. Aside from, I will see you in about 2 hours for Reiki and Zodiacs, but you are the prize. You are the prize. I see you, and I am proud of you. And if no one else has told you this today, I love you. I love your soul. And I've always got your back. Okay? I will see you guys here shortly.